So if there's anybody that encompasses what we stand for at valuetainment, it's Senator John Kennedy, because he's given value, but he's also entertaining as heck. So we've seen your one-liners, and I'm excited for this interview, but ready to get started?
Sure.
Okay. By the way, he's better looking in person. First question, the number one concern on most Americans' mind is the economy, affordability. Everyone's concerned what the government can do, but what could individuals and families do better to save that money?
Well, we're going to talk about it tonight at the State of the Union, which I think is appropriate. I'd point out two things: one process, one substance. Process to my Democratic friends, and to paraphrase Congresswoman Omar, I love you like a brother, but please behave tonight.
Yes.
Don't act like you're having a grand mal seizure. I say the same thing to my Republican colleagues. We're all there to hear the president. We're not there to hear each other. Number two, here's what I think the president will do tonight, what I hope he does, Adam. I hope he will look at the American people in the eye and talk to them about things that moms and dads are worried about when they lie down and try to sleep at night and can't. And one of those, of course, is cost of living. That includes inflation, which we can talk about if you want, housing, insurance, health care. Now, there are other important subjects. Iran is on our mind as well, and I'm sure he'll talk about that. But the truth is that many Americans do not feel comfortable with this economy. It's much better, number-wise, than a lot of people realize, but you can't tell people who don't feel good about their economic position not to believe their lying checkbooks. It's their checkbook.
That's true. The midterms, they're coming up, and everyone's concerned about what's going to happen. You know, last year they predicted a red wave. It didn't happen. Now they're saying that it's going to be a blue wave.
Yeah.
We'll see. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear Speaker of the House Hakeem Jeffries?
Well, let me say this, not just about the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, but let me just say this about all the experts. The experts are always wrong. I mean, most of these guys have never run a race in their natural lifetimes. And they have never, they're not any more in touch with the American people than Gavin Newsom. Members of Congress are. I talk to my people every day. I know what's on their minds. And they will fool you. Let me tell you about the American people. Their mind is not made up. And they're plenty smart. They may not read Aristotle every day because they're too busy earning a living. But the American people are looking this all over carefully, and they'll decide the midterms, and as far as I'm concerned, it's wide open.
You just brought up Gavin Newsom, a bunch of my colleagues, Patrick Bet-David, Vinny, and Tom, they all lived in California. I'm a Florida guy myself. I know you're Louisiana. What would the country look like under President Gavin Newsom?
It would look like a lot like it was under President Biden, except on crank. You can just look at the governor's record in California. I mean,
what record, sir?
Yeah, well, no, he's got a record. It's a bad one, but
That's
he's
right.
got a record. He would try to turn. Look, I love my friends in France, but he would try to turn the United States of America into France, to just a social welfare state where people only have to work 35 hours a week, even if they want to work more, where they depend on somebody else for their defense. I love France, but they're running huge budget deficits and can't afford anything because they spend all their money on butter and not guns, all their money on welfare. And you just can't, that's not the American way, but that's Gavin Newsom's way.
It's like the French word, how do you say socialism? It's no good.
Socialism is for morons.
I mean, I would add more, but that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the book that says all the benefits of communism. You've seen this book and you open the book and then the pages are completely empty.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anybody who thinks that socialism, much less communism, works, they were in the quad playing frisbee during History 101.
But we see these young people. It's like, if you don't learn from history, you're destined to repeat it. We're seeing young people start to vote for outright socialists, democratic socialists, communists.
Yeah.
Ilhan Omar in Minnesota. We see Zoran Mamdani in New York. Obviously, what's going on in California. They're not even keeping it quiet. They're promoting it. They're running on it. Why do these idiots keep doubling down on communism and socialism as if it's going to be a different outcome?
Well, part of it, Adam, is our universities. There's no question that most of our universities over the last 20 years have taken a hard left and kept driving. Now, there's nothing wrong with their point of view, a faculty's point of view, but they don't present a balanced point of view. They present it as the gospel. And too many of our kids just suck it up like a Hoover Deluxe, and they believe it. And they've never been challenged. I talk to members of the media, young people, every day up here. They've come from a woke college to a woke newsroom. They don't know. They don't know anything else. And socialism, communism sounds great on paper,
Right.
but it's never worked in practice. I mean, if you think it works, then I hear Cuba's beautiful this time of year.
Of course. Well, I'm from Miami, and nobody from Miami is taking a raft to go to Cuba.
No.
It's always Cubans trying to get to Miami.
Of course.
And it's, you brought up going left and just doubling down on left. This ain't NASCAR. This ain't Ricky Bobby where you just keep going left and left and left.
Yeah.
You go left, you're going to be going around in circles in communism, and you're going to be in the poorhouse.
Well, the truth is, free enterprise works. And when's the last time you heard of somebody trying to sneak into China? They want to come to America.
Of course.
People from all over the world, they want to come to America because we not only have the values, we've got the best economic system in all of human history.
I agree. Let's talk President Trump for a second. I know we're both fans. By the way, I know you're a part-time comedian and you do amazing one-liners. Do you have a good Trump? Do you do a good Trump by any chance?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't even attempt it.
No?
Mike
Okay.
Johnson, ask Mike, he'll do it for you.
Everyone says Mike Johnson has the best Trump. What makes his Trump so unique?
He sounds like him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Mike
Mike's
Johnson,
good.
respect to him.
Yeah.
So we're all fans of what the president is doing. Approval ratings, not if you believe him, can't necessarily trust the polls. A year ago, he was in the high 40s. Now, allegedly, he's in the mid 30s. The challenge is they're saying that independents are breaking from him.
Yeah.
What advice do you think you would give to not only President Trump, but just the overall Congress? How do we get independents back on board with the Trump's agenda?
Well, here's what I've learned about the experts that I talked about, the political prognosticators here in Washington. For all of them together, make those late night psychic hotlines that you see on TV look reputable. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about, and they know they've never run an election.
You don't like Miss Chloe?
And they take a snapshot in time.
Yes, sir.
Look, I'm not an expert in many things, if any, but I know how to read a poll, and I can make a poll say what I want. I can make it say what I want. I can make a poll. I can make a poll come out any which way I write it. And right now, the American people are making up their mind. They're unhappy on some things. They're unhappy about inflation. Hell, I am too. President Biden gave us inflation. We've got it down to 3%. The best way to deal with inflation is to grow your way out of it with increased wages. And the Republicans have a good story to tell on that, but we need to do more. It's why I've asked my friend Senator Thune to let us do another bill to address the cost of living. And some food prices are down. A lot of them are up. And it does no good, Adam, to look the American people in the eye when they feel like they're hurting and say, don't believe your lying checkbooks. You've got to look them in the eye and say, here's what I'm doing and will continue to do and plan to do to help.
Speaking of the economy and President Trump, we saw it just happen this past week with the Supreme Court sort of striking down the tariffs. What do you think is going to be the outcome of the tariff situation, especially in light of the Supreme Court's decision?
Well, I said the other day, if I were king for a day, I'm not, don't aspire to be. Here's what I would do. I would go to every country in the world, and I would say, I will remove all American tariffs on the goods you sell to us if you will remove all of the tariffs on the goods we buy from you. And then let American companies compete with other companies on a level playing field.
Yeah.
And we will win. We will win. Now, trade's more complicated than that, and we live in the real world, but that to me is what our ideal should be. The problem is that we allowed countries, I give you China, to erect tariffs and trade barriers for decades that hurt the American economy and the American worker. And that's what this trade dispute is all about. I didn't think that the Supreme Court's opinion was the end of Western civilization. If you went to the oral argument and listened, Stevie Wonder could have seen it coming. You could tell what they were going to do. And now the president's going to revisit the issue. Hopefully he'll do it with Congress, and we'll work out a tariff system that looks like somebody designed it on purpose.
Well said. You're Louisiana.
Louisiana. Yep.
So we
lots of alligators, more alligators than people.
The Bayou Country.
Bayou Country.
Listen, I'm Florida. I know about the Everglades, okay?
Yeah, well, you've got alligators and crocodiles. We've
That's
just
true.
got alligators.
But you got Bobby Boucher.
That's true.
That's right. That's my guy.
You've got pythons.
We got Florida man.
You got Florida man.
All right, we're gonna do
You've
a
got
Florida
Rubio.
Louisiana off right
you
now.
You got Rubio.
Rubio's doing a great job. What do you
Rubio's
think?
a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the Senate for over a decade, you know.
Marco's a good friend. He's what cool looks like.
Yeah, now they're saying that he's going to be president of Venezuela, president of Mexico. What about president of the United States? Do you see that coming at all?
I don't think Marco's thinking about that.
Really?
I think Marco's got so many irons in the fire. He's probably trying to just get a little sleep and see his family every now and then.
I don't disagree with you, and I actually appreciate what you're saying, but you know who's thinking about that?
Who's that?
The American people are
Sure
thinking
they are.
about Rubio for president.
It's normal.
Yeah.
Marco's a very, very talented guy. He's very mature. He exercises power maturely and rationally. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big Rubio fan.
We all are. So you're a seasoned vet in the game. What state do you think is the most in decline, and what state do you think is the most in ascent out there?
I think probably the state that's most, well, it would be a tie. Illinois, it's just, Illinois has got so many problems and no appetite to make it better. California has many assets that Illinois doesn't have because they've lost theirs. California has really smart people, beautiful climate, entrepreneurial people. They've just got too much government. The jury's out on New York City. I think New York City, I've been all over the world. I think New York City is the greatest city in the world. But I really worry that Mayor Mamdani is going to hurt it.
What do you think's going to happen in New York City? Because not only is he a proud socialist, he seems like he's an Islamist and a communist. You know, we're about to have the 25-year anniversary of 9/11, and to be there, the mayor of the city was Rudy Giuliani at the time. Now you're going to have this proud Islamist communist Zohran Mamdani during the 25-year anniversary of 9/11. What are your thoughts on that and the overall Islamification of the United States of America?
Well, obviously, Mayor Mamdani is a very able politician, ran a good race. He's obviously very smart. He's woke. He honestly believes that Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head are racist. I think he believes kids should be able to change genders at recess. He believes that he can tax and regulate New York City into prosperity. He can't.
No, of course not.
And he wants to give everybody free stuff, free food, free housing, free buses, free kittens, free sex. You know, there's nothing free. Anything free, somebody else had to work for.
That's true.
I'm afraid he's going to learn at New York's expense. Hope I'm wrong, Adam, but I'm afraid he's going to learn a very hard lesson. And the good people in New York City are going to pay the price. I hope I'm wrong.
That's tough. And I love New York City. I'm a Miami guy, but I do love New York City. Finishing up that last situation right there, what state do you think is the most in a cent out there?
Oh, we got a bunch. I mean, I'm proud of Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Flor-
Other than your own home state.
Florida,
Yep.
Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina.
Sounds like a bunch of red states right there, sir.
I could keep going. I'm leaving some out. Did I mention Tennessee? They have their act together. It is mostly red states. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the facts of the
They're,
facts.
they're coming out of this right now. Last couple of questions, and I appreciate the time. Geopolitics. There's all these flashpoints all around the world. I think you famously said you trust China and Iran and North Korea as much as you trust Jussie Smollett. So there's all these flashpoints. What do you think deserves our greatest attention right now?
Well, if you could see the classified information that I see, here's what you'd conclude. China, Russia, Iran are working together. Their goal is to, President Xi in China's the quarterback. Their goal is to have them, have Russia dominate Eastern and Central Europe, Iran dominate the Middle East, China dominate the Indo-Pacific, South America, Sub-Saharan Africa. They want to be major players in space and in the Arctic. Xi is behind all of it. I wouldn't turn my back on him if he were 3 days dead. But he has. You have to be impressed with what he's done in China in terms of its military strength and its economic strength. And the fact is that they think we're in decline. They think that Americans sit around all day and debate whether a man can breastfeed while they're building more ships and more nuclear weapons. And to some extent, they're right. I don't want America to be the world's policeman. I don't want Xi Jinping in China to be the world's policeman either.
No, that could be ugly.
And America first does not have to be American alone.
Yeah, I agree with you. What do you think is going to happen with Iran? We see all the ships and all the military assets circling the Gulf out there. What's the most likely outcome in Iran?
Well, the Middle East today is safer than it's been in 25 years because Israel, with America's backing, we've given a curb stomping to Hezbollah, to Hamas. We've hit Iran once. Iran's very weakened. I think the president is carefully, he's carefully calibrating all his options. He doesn't want to start a regional war, and I think his instinct is to try to negotiate with Iran. You can't. The Ayatollah learned how to lie before he learned how to talk.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're talking, but if we agree to something, you better have a protocol that it can be enforced because they'll start cheating the next day.
I fully agree with you. You know, they say trust, but verify. I don't trust them at all. We need to verify everything with the Ayatollah.
Well, the Ayatollah, his version of his religion tells him that his God tells him to kill people who don't agree with him.
Yeah.
Now, if that's,
as much as I heard 50 to 80,000 people dead or in prison now just for protesting.
He wants to drink Americans' blood and the Jewish people's blood out of a boot.
Yeah.
And you can't reason with somebody like that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Last question for you, if you don't mind. We're going to look at the camera for this one. We believe at Valuetainment and on the Peabody podcast that the future looks bright. Look into the camera and tell Americans right there, sir, why the future looks bright for America.
Well, I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist who worries, but I'm an optimist. And I believe America's future can be better than its present or its past. I've always believed we're only as good as our dreams, and we're only as valuable as our children. But I'm not going to bubble wrap it. We got problems in Washington, D.C., serious problems. And the water is not going to clear up here until you get the pigs out of the creek. And that's what I work every day to do.